This is Sevin Philips. Love is one of the most beautiful things that we have to share with one another. Yet the number one offender with love is being disrespectful with one another. It's a heart-wrenching cycle. And one of the most dangerous things about it is that when we feel hurt, when we feel disrespected by one another, we often feel justified to treat the other person poorly, unloving, and disrespectful. So, one of the best ways to do this is to turn it around and really get to the bottom of it, which is that none of us have the right to treat one another disrespectfully, no matter what. We all have inherent worth. We all have inherent value. And the faulty thinking that we actually have the right to harm one another is the thing that gets us into the most trouble. Now, what we do have a right to do is we have the right to take care of ourselves. We aren't doormats. So what I like to do with couples is to switch them from having justifiable anger moving towards you have the right to take care of yourself. So the first step is to agree with one another. It is unacceptable to be disrespectful to one another, no matter what. And what we do have the right to do, and what the next step would be, is that we could take care of ourselves by having a timeout. So this could look as simple as just saying, listen, I'm so angry, I can't talk to you anymore, we'll talk about this later. If that's as best as it can come out, that's completely fine. This is going to be very difficult for some people because it's unbearable sometimes to have conflict that's unresolved, and to have it unresolved even for a minute could feel like a year. But you have to ask yourself, is it more important to fight this out and perhaps harm one another, or to wait a while and do it in a good way and to have some really, real healing happen between you two? So bearing it is definitely a good practice. And for those of you that think this is a get-out-of-jail-free card, I get to do a timeout whenever I want, and it's not true, actually, because you do need to come back and talk about it. So having said this, I oftentimes suggest, even though it could be a couple of hours when you actually feel better, you can come back and talk about it. I often suggest 24 hours. And what's really interesting about this is that couples will come back, and they'll often tell me that, I could barely remember why I was so upset. So it really goes to show that, oftentimes the things that we fight about, that we argue about, and hurt one another over are often smaller things that aren't worth doing. They definitely aren't worth harming the love that we have with one another. So please take this practice and check it out. Protect the love that you have. Protect yourself and your own right to take care of yourself, and let the love grow. Thanks.